and that they are dynamic, all right, and also interesting, then you are going to have a blast in your writing classes, right? And also your students are going to be interested in doing this. But in order to do that, we need to present interesting topics and so take our time preparing our lessons. Now, you need to keep in mind something. We are going to do, we are going to have to recognize two types of writings, all right? Now, first of all, the whole writing process, all right? What is it, right? What is writing? Can you please write some comments on Facebook? I will be reading them in my cell phone, all right? What is writing, or what is the writing process? What does it take to write? Please, go ahead and write some ideas. We're gonna have 1 minute. I'm going to read your comments. Yes, writing is difficult, it's very hard. All right, it's an important skill. Please write it. What does it take to write a perfect text? Good afternoon, everybody. I'm trying to read your comments. A lot of people are getting online actually. To communicate using words, very good. Yes, that's right. It's a productive skill, definitely. We have two types of skills, right? Two categories, receptive and then productive skills. It's the ability to produce something, all right? Something based on thoughts and ideas, great. It's an output skill. All right, writing is a process of putting ideas in a neat way. Very well done, Scarlett Rojas, right. To encode our thoughts, right? To express your feelings, yes. Using grammar with coherence and cohesion, perfectly done. It's an important skill using words. Yes, it's one of the productive skills, very good. I'm gonna read two more ideas. I think that this has become easier to do, because now we have worksheets students can see, we can use it very quickly. So I want you to know that there are two types of process of writing, all right? Now you have something which is called product writing and then process writing, all right? Do you have any idea of what product writing is? Is it traditional or it's a, I wouldn't say modern or new methodology, but which is the traditional method? Process writing or product writing? What do you think? You can type it there. Hello, hello from Ecuador. What is a traditional writing? Process writing or product writing? You can type your answers there. Hello, hello. All right. Very good, Mariela Condonera, right, Mariela, product writing, excellent. So now we're gonna go to that, all right? We are going to go to see this. Firstly, the writing process, all right? I already told you the concept of this, but somebody over there in the chat mentioned this. And then in order to have a great text, this is what we need to do. Pre-writing, drafting, revision, editing, and finally, publishing, all right? This is going to make people more aware of the writing, more worried about writing in a nice way, right? Because it's going to be published. All right. Look at this. Pre-writing, it's about brainstorming, and it's about organizing ideas. We're going to talk more in depth in a while, all right? Now, drafting is creating a rough paper, el borrador, all right? That's already drafted. Now, revision, it's not just editing. Revision is when you, all right, I'm gonna see the whole paper and I'm gonna make some changes here and there, all right? And I'm gonna improve it. This could be like see the content. Now, editing is proofreading. When you check the mechanics, right? The punctuation, the spelling, right? And then you have publishing at the end when you present the final copy, and then you expect your teacher to give you some feedback about that. So this is product writing. Yes, somebody said that. Mariela said it's a traditional approach. Right. All right. Normally, the teacher gives a model paper. All right. This is a letter. You need. This is the model, the result, and this is what you should present in a week. All right. So students need to mimic this model, all right? They need to see, analyze, and then they have to present it. Normally from A1, you have postcards, you have a letter to a friend, write an email, and then it goes more difficult, right? Or write a story, and then you have even emails or maybe essays, right? Or articles, maybe a report. So, and it gets to be one, right? Now, students need to write the whole task, but they also need to use the language which has been practiced in the class. That's why we write, to assess what we teach, right? So if we are talking about, if we are learning how to use future, then the writing that we present to our students should be something about what are your plans for next week? What are you gonna do next year, right? Okay, tell me about your dreams, perhaps, right? And also product writing, it's about checking organization of ideas, not just the outline, but check the whole paragraphing of the text, right? In the introduction, in the body paragraph, in the conclusion, and teach our students that there should be an order and a coherence between ideas. There should be also some transference from idea to idea, all right? If you're talking about vegetables, then we don't have to talk about cars, right? It's out of the question. Very well. Now, let me go to the next slide. We're gonna have a little exercise here, and I want your help. There is a 20-second delay, right? So I'm going to wait. And this is what you're gonna do. Over there, you 616 people now. We are going to match the component and its description, all right? And I want you to match number one and give me the answer. Number two, what would be the answer? Three, tell me A, B, C, D. You can put it in the comment section and I'm gonna tell you the answers. The answers are gonna be there. Go ahead. Let's see. Mhm. The audience, any idea? 1A, Florester Angulo says 1A. All right, can we try again? Let's see. Audience. Audience is the people in a theater. People, all right, see Veronica. 1C, yes. The answer for one is C, the intended readership. People who read about this are the audience, all right? So you need to be careful with the report because you have formal and informal papers, right? In a formal document, you need to be very formal. You need to use dear sir or madam, all right? Now, if the audience, the intended audience or the readers are going to be your friends, it's going to be your friend, then you can even use apostrophes. So you need to be careful with the audience when you are writing a text. Number two, E, the purpose. Very good, Catherine Lucia. Two is E, the reason for the piece of writing, right? There is always a purpose for writing, all right? I don't just wake up one morning and I say, I'm going to write today. No, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna go to my class, and then my teacher is going to show me something about nature, maybe about endangered animals. And then my teacher is gonna ask me questions like, should we take care of the environment? Or even better, why should we take care of the environment and our wildlife? And then the purpose of writing should be write a letter to the president, write a letter to the local zoo in your city, all right? And asking questions about this. This would be a purpose. Three, genre. Let's see, D. Very good, Maricruz. A category or a certain expected style of writing. There are different styles, right? And we need to keep in mind this, especially, well, this goes up to B2 level 2, right? Very well. 4, language style. It's related to vocabulary, to grammar. What is it? 4. Who has an answer for 4? Who has the answer for number 4? I haven't seen number 4, eh? I'm reading your comments. For number 4, 4B. Try again, another option. Very good, Veronica. 4F, language style, right? An expected grammatical form or use of vocabulary and phrases determined by the genre. Very well, thank you. Components, the parts that make the structure, right? Very well. And number 6, finally, the structure is how the components are arranged. Very well. You can check the answers here on the corner, top left corner over here. Let's just check it, all right? You can take a photo and remember this part, all right? Very well. Well done, guys. Let's continue now. Now, we're gonna see process writing, all right? Now, I really like process writing, especially with young learners, all right? Because they really enjoy this, especially with when motor abilities activity, you know, when you ask them to cut and glue, stick some of the paragraph in a piece of paper. Now, this doesn't happen in upper levels because they try to just do the product writing. They just see the result and they try to make it perfectly. But with process writing, we tend to talk about it, brainstorm ideas, and we need to keep in mind something. This is the mnemonic. It's called POWER. Look at that, POWER. First, we're going to start planning how to write this. So we can have listed answers, ideas, and start with a group discussion, all right, and brainstorming ideas. After that, we're gonna go to organizing your writing. All right, and here you should be very graphic with kids, teenagers, right? Using mind maps, spidergrams. I remember for family members and that's basic level, all right? A nice graphic organizer would be just drawing a tree and writing, right? Putting the name of your mother, what family relationship, mom, dad, etc., and then creating the outline, right? All right, now students write the first draft. After doing this and giving them ideas, and after writing the sentences, all right, isolated sentences, one after another, then they can start writing their first draft, all right? And they can do it in pairs, all right? They can do it in groups, right? Now, depending on the topic, of course. After that, they can go to editing. And I really like peer correction. This is something that not many teachers do. Well, back in time when we had classes, presential classes, right? I could see this, right? That it was just me correcting, but then when I gave the student his partner's paper, they were surprised. Me? Am I going to check it? Yes, you can check it. But then we need to give the rubrics to our students, all right? You need to give the error correction, it's for E, or you have to tell them P is for punctuation. So if you find one mistake, you have to write a P. And then your friend is going to recognize, oh, okay, I need to put a comma or a period here, right? So you need to have a ballot of this. Now, about revising the paper, it's not about just checking a paper and correcting the grammar or the spelling. That's not checking a paper, guys, all right? That is just checking the mechanics. So we need to be careful with that. If my student gives me a piece of paper and I start reading the text, I'm not gonna make it color red all over, right? I have to check a lot of things. Firstly, I am going to give it a read, completely, totally, and I am going to check if there is coherence between paragraphs, all right? And then, all right, is he talking about the task? Is the task in all of the paragraphs, in all of the sentences? Yes, all of the ideas are related to the task. All right, then I'm gonna check the organization. After that, I can check the punctuation, grammar, vocabulary, etc. All right, let's see. Very well. And that is process writing. It's the creation in pairs or in group, in class, and brainstorming. There is some creativity in this process, all right? That's why it's not the traditional methods, all right? So it's doing this, and you can create a writing in 2 weeks, all right? And at the end, you can take an exam about it, right? So this is something that we need to start doing. Now, let's just revise and identify the advantages of product versus process writing, all right? Over here, you're going to have the answer. Maybe this is product or process, all right? So let's do again the same. I want to see your answers. Read the sentence and recognize if this is product or process writing, all right? Let's see. I am going to read your answers. Number one, product or process. Write it down in your comments. One, product. Students produce a polished, neat piece of work. Yes, it is product writing, right? Because I show them this is an article in a magazine. This is what you should do. You have to do it the same, right? Or better. And that's product writing. Two, number two. What about two? Enrique Liñán, what about number two? Process, Yanela, Marin. Students don't always work alone while writing. Yes, that's correct, right? Group or pair work. Very good. Number two is process. Excellent. What about number three? What about number three? Students focus on the accuracy of their writing. Not fluency, but accuracy. It should be perfectly written. All right, product, very well. Product writing, good. Number four. Students make sure the reader can understand writing. When there is a revision, remember? Oh, I understand everything. What is that? What is number four? Number four, correction, remember? Write the number and next to it, the name. Process. Remember I said peer correction, right? What about five? Students explore a topic If students explore a topic fully, completely, before writing about it. So first you get some ideas, brainstorm. What is that? Product or process? Number five. Number five. Let's see number five. Very good, process, right, Joseph Ortega. Very well. Students learn the steps of writing. First, we do this, give me some ideas. Now you're going to write a sentence, use these connectors and write your sentence. Now you can start putting it in a piece of paper and then you can check it. What is number six? Number six. Number six. Very well, a lot of good answers there. All right, process. Very well, good job. Finally, number seven, students learn what good writing looks like, all right? So what is it? Good writing. I show you the paper immediately. And that is, of course, product writing, right? Because you present the sample paper first, and then you tell your students, this is what you need to finish. This is what you need to have at the end, all right? Very well. Now, this is these are two questions from the examen de nombramiento, all right, the Minedu. And we have a task, and we have two questions, all right? We have two questions here. So let's just check very quickly. The question is, Jose's students are going to write a short essay on the advantages and disadvantages of having a pet. He has designed the following sequence. 1, on the board, the teacher draws a chart and divides it into the following categories: advantage of having a pet and disadvantages of having a pet. All right. In their notebooks, the students write some ideas under each category. After that, the teacher tells the students that they have to make an outline using the ideas in the chart. Then, using their outlines, the students write their first version of the essay. Next, the teacher asks them to improve their first version by adding topic sentences and supporting ideas in each paragraph. Later, the students exchange their essays and correct all the mistakes they find. Finally, the teacher collects the essays. 79. Which approach to writing is Jose promoting? General approach, product approach, or process approach? I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the answer. I think that we are running out of time now. Well, the answer for this is process approach. There is a whole process and a step-by-step explanation to the students and practice too, all right? So this is a process approach. Question number 80. Which writing skill needs to be improved in the sequence presented by Jose? Planning? Well, actually, you have it here, right? The outline, then the first version, not really planning. Drafting, well, he does the outline and then the first version and then they exchange. Okay, it's not drafting. What about this? The students exchange their essays and corrects all the mistakes they find. The teacher collects the essays. All right, look at that. Correct all the mistakes they find. What do you think the answers are? I'm going to go ahead. Yes, I think that we don't really have much time. So we need to keep in mind that this is a revision thing, all right? Look at this. I think that in the revising part, there was some help from the teacher, all right, that was kind of absent. They don't talk about giving feedback. They just find all the correct all the mistakes they find. And probably students, if are not taught well, they're just gonna focus on grammar or vocabulary or spelling mistakes. So this is something that the teacher needs to emphasize. You need to check this part. You need to check organization today. You need to check this part today, all right? So it needs to be improved. And the second question, it's another task, and we have this. Alejandro is going to teach his students how to write a formal letter using product approach. Remember that, the traditional one. He has planned the following teaching sequence. First, the teacher puts the students in groups and give each group a sample formal letter. Based on this sample, the groups analyze the format and the expressions used in formal letters. Then the teacher elicits from the students the parts of a formal letter: salutation, body, and closure, and writes them on the board. In their notebooks, the students make an outline of their letter, taking into account the parts of a formal letter. Then, individually, the students write a formal letter, considering the sample analyzed previously. Finally, the teacher collects the letters for correction. All right, which of the following product approach stages is missing in Alejandro's teaching sequence? Modeling, control practice, or organization of ideas? Yeah, organization of ideas. What do you think? I think that we can wait there. What is the answer? A, B, or C? What is your answer? A, B, or C? Modeling. All right. C, organization of ideas. B, control practice. All right. Organization of ideas, it's actually there. You see? It's very clear. A or B? All right, the correct answer is B. All right, there should have been a control practice there, and a control practice would have been giving them a worksheet, all right, with some gaps, all right, like for example, the whole letter, all right, but with some gaps to fill out. For example, dear should have been a gap, and then how are you would have been another gap. Maybe first, another gap, like take care, another gap. And then there is a sequence that they are showing them, and that would have been a little control practice, all right? So a little more of this. Modeling was okay. He actually gave them the sample, right? It says here. Very well. Now, I'm gonna show you some pre-writing activities, all right? Now, actually, I'm gonna give you the links for these too. So I want you to know that pre-writing is where the magic happens, all right? Organization of ideas, the creative process goes there, all right? Students start imagining things. So this is something that needs to be taught at the beginning and before the writing, all right? Because if you just skip this step, it's just gonna turn out to be a very boring assignment, right? So they need to be enthusiastic, you know, excited about writing. Very well. First, you need to define the topic. What is the purpose of writing, all right? Then you need to know how to approach it. What is gonna be the style of writing? Formal, informal? What genre is it? Is it gonna be an email, a letter, a story? And you need to do your class according to these styles, right? Then remember, mind maps, visual, photos. This is something that photo description, for example, is going to help you a lot with your writing, right? And then you can even start researching a little bit, watching videos about the topic. Maybe if it's talk about your last vacation, you can watch a video about maybe Machu Picchu or something. Now, you should show them graphic organizers, all right? These are some of the styles of graphic organizers by the British Council, all right? You have a spider web, fishbone, cluster, cycle, and you are gonna see it in my slides too, right? And it's because our brain is connected, all right? And our brain is a big graphic organizer. If you notice, all right, it's everything connected. All the neurons are connected with the protons, and this is the way we actually learn, all right? Connecting ideas. So it's not just reading, but connecting them, all right? All right. After doing that, after brainstorming ideas, we need to become more organized. And in the pre-writing part, you should do your outline. In the outline, you are going to have the first idea. Maybe it's just a composition, right? Then what first idea, the second idea, supporting details, then an example, right? And the same thing with the second main idea, right? But it should be in order. After that, you can start writing the first draft, all right? And then you produce your first draft. And then we go to while writing, all right? And here we need to evaluate, we need to analyze, is this okay? All right, I have these ideas. I have many ideas from the brainstorming. Which one is the one that is necessary? And here we remove the extra information and we just stay with the which is necessary, right? Very well. Look at this. If you have three very amazing sites actually from the British Council, from Cambridge English, and from ESL School, all right? This is from Cambridge. If you click on this one, I think that Mariela is going to leave the website, my PowerPoint is going to be shared for you, all right? And my email is at the end also. If you would like to receive my PowerPoint, I can send it to you, all right? So if you click over here in Cambridge, they are going, and you just type writing, basic or intermediate, then it's going to pop up. A lot of while writing activities are going to pop up, and you can open them and you can just print them, or you can practice this online with your students. The same with the British Council, all right? And you have for different levels a lot of these activities, all right? E-school is also the same, and this one actually has for upper levels, a lot of FE, FEA too. Now, an activity that you can do while writing would be a timeline, all right? You just write a timeline, and then first, what happened? Then what happened? Thirdly, fourthly. And then you are putting the ideas in order. And this is what you can transport to the actual text. Also, asking a lot of questions like WH questions, what, when, where, right? The answer should be in the text, right? I went to the beach last Saturday. My friend and I had a lot of fun. We ate ceviche, right? So you are answering in your mind all of the WH questions. WH questions are also the question that should be asked in the pre-writing stage, all right? But here you're gonna have the sentences, right? And also while activities, all right, I have my sentence, but what is it? How can I make it better? Well, use adjectives, all right? Make it more formal or richer, you know, by using an adjective, an extra adjective before a noun. Very well. Now, post-writing activities. And there are a lot of post-writing activities, right? Post-writing is rewriting, actually. It's like first draft, all right, you check your first draft with your friend, peer correction, or even teacher correction. The teachers give the revision, and then students have to write the paper again or do the second draft, right? When you do the second draft, sometimes, well, you actually have to rewrite the whole paper, right? So you need to have a clear feedback. Or as a teacher, you need to give a clear feedback to your students, all right? Very well. These are some post-writing activities. Maybe adding cohesion markers, conjunctions, right? And doing a proofreading, a checklist, and showing your students your checklist. All right, students, I am going to check this. So students have this checklist. Okay, maybe idea one, it's organization. Yes, it's in order. Oh, I have to check punctuations, comma. My sentence cannot be longer than 2 lines. All right, I am checking this. Right? So these are activities that you need to do with your students, right? And editing, peer teacher correction, as I said before, story rewriting, right? Maybe you tell a story, right? After writing is done, this is an extra writing. You get the story, and then you just ask students to retell it, right? Change the character, change the ending of the story, all right? Just to practice again. Another form would be you have finished your writing. Okay, now take this writing and change the person. Like you write a story and you have the 3 little pigs, los tres chanchitos, right? But now write the story from the wolf perspective. Oh my God, right? Or you have Hansel and Gretel, or just create a story. Now do the same, but in the third person's perspective, right? This is also for basic level, use he or she, all right? Now, postcards, it's a nice way to do a post writing, just make it realistic, right? And you can motivate your students with video, right? You just YouTube travel postcard videos and they pop up immediately, all right? Now, something that is very important in writing, it's publishing, right? You should put it in a blog. Now we have the internet. We're not gonna go to the classroom or al patio del colegio, right? We're gonna see this in the website, right? In a blog, all right? So this is something important, and the students are more aware of their writing when you tell them, I'm going to make it public. Very well. Let's see how we are on time. Okay, 7 p.m. Very well. Now, let's see. One more question. Examen de nombramiento 2019. Question 55. Alberto wants to work on a post-reading task to help his students develop their writing task. All right? Which of the following activities is more appropriate for his purpose? The teacher asks the students to make a to-do list for New Year's Eve. They have to include all the tasks they need to do during that day. The teacher brings copies of incomplete invitation cards to a New Year party. Students have to complete the following information: name, address, time, and date. And C, the teacher tells the students to write about the way Peruvians celebrate New Year's Eve, and they have to mention the activities people do and the importance of that celebration. Which of the following activities is more appropriate for his purpose? A, B, or C? Tell me your answers. We can ask questions at the end. Sure, I see two questions. C, excellent, Magdalena, Nancy, Marita, Yanela, well done. Well done. The answer is C. The teacher tells the students to write about the way Peruvians celebrate New Year's Eve. Right. Normally in our textbooks, we have celebrations, right? International celebrations. So localize, make it global, local and then global, or global and local, right? Very good. That is the purpose. The answer is C. All right, let's just wrap it up. Let's just wrap it up. And remember, free writing, brainstorming, scratch outline, and free writing. Lluvia de ideas. Then, while writing, start writing. Write the thesis statement. And then, the main ideas of the paragraph. Lo pueden hacer hasta con números romanos. All right? Supporting details for each paragraph of the main idea. And then your conclusion. Finally, post-writing, revising. Check the whole text if necessary. Read it again and check coherence and organization. And remember editing or proofreading. Check the flow, ideas, grammar, spelling, and punctuation. There are a lot of spelling mistakes here. All right. Now we have 15 minutes to check out two things. And we're gonna finish with this. It's called writing conventions. And writing conventions go to post writing activities. Writing conventions are in the revision part. Remember POWER, the mnemonics I mentioned, all right? R stands for revision or revising. So editing and proofreadings and writing conventions are these: the grammar, all right? The grammar according to the A1, A2, or B1 level, right? Using the appropriate personal pronoun with the possessive pronoun, all right? Checking singular or plural form, and then the verb to. Checking the correct convention, the conjunction, and, but, or maybe more sophisticated, despite, however. Mechanics of editing. This is very important. Capitalization. In the English language, paragraphing, and also capitalization are very important, all right? The first word of a sentence, the names of people, the names of religions, languages, nationalities, all right? Punctuation is something that is crucial in order to have a message, all right? To understand something, the punctuation should be crucial in this scenario. Spelling, all right? Sometimes, now that we have the computer here, we just have to type, there are typo mistakes, you know? Errores de tipeo. But they shouldn't be so frequent, especially if it's an exam, right? Revision and organizational strategies. Word choice, all right? Am I using the correct word? It should be cutting edge or just new. It depends on the vocabulary that you have taught, and it depends on the level that you're teaching, right? And use of simple sentences, right? Remember to teach your students because sometimes they don't even know in Spanish, right? So how do you expect a student to write a proper sentence in another language if he doesn't know how to connect, if he doesn't know what it takes to write a proper sentence in Spanish, which is their mother language, you know, your mother tongue. So subject, verb, and complement. Connector, subject, verb, and complement again. All right. These are some punctuation stages, punctuation factors that you need to keep in mind for writing conventions, all right? And we need to learn these words, and we need to teach our students these words, all right? Very well. Finally, just a quick exercise of coherence versus cohesion. And I need your help for this. This is another question from examen del Minedu, okay? Rodrigo has made a checklist to assess his students' restaurant review. Here are 3 of the descriptors that appear in the checklist, okay? 1, linking words help understand the sequence of the text whenever necessary. Ideas in the text are related to the topic. There are no contradictions or missing information. 3, accuracy is acceptable. There aren't many distracting errors. Listen to the question. Which of the descriptors above is appropriate to assess coherence in the students' written texts? Number 1, 2, or 3? Appropriate to assess coherence. What is it? Write your answers, please. Very well. Well done. The answer is letter B, number 2. Ideas in the text are related to the topic. Yes, there is a great organization, it's coherent, I understand, transference from one to another, there are no contradiction, it's about potatoes, it's not about oranges, there is no missing information, all the WH questions information that we got are here, perfect. All right, my dear teachers from Comunidad de Profesores de Inglés. I think that today you have learned a lot about this. Here is a little bit of the bibliography that you can have. And that's gonna be all for today. I just want to say thank you. My name is Siorella Gonzales. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Trujillo Transmite. And I am offering also an international seminar, which is gonna be on the 27th of March, actually. There are a lot of nice speakers that I think that you have had the privilege of listening to them in previous occasions. I think that Enrique Liñán was here too, and I think that Cristel Oyola has also been a speaker here, and they are going to be presenting here today. So thank you very much. If you have questions, we can go to the question part now, all right? And Mariela, you can take over now. Thank you.
Yes, Siorella, thank you so much, dear Siorella, for this outstanding presentation. Estamos viendo aquí, para que no quede ninguna duda, vamos a usar nuestro idioma porque luego los teachers empiezan a preguntar y preguntar sobre el seminario que nos acabas de mencionar, pero antes agradecerte todo lo compartido, realmente es para nosotros muy, muy productivo. Estamos en una etapa de preparación, todos tenemos, los que trabajamos al menos en instituciones públicas y por supuesto por un tema de capacitación para quienes están en instituciones privadas, el tema de poder dominar la metodología de la enseñanza del inglés. Y el writing siempre ha sido un skill bastante hard para nosotros, para los teachers, para poder hacer que los estudiantes produzcan. Y creo que todos los tips que nos has dado, las diferencias que existen entre el product writing, entre el process writing, realmente es muy importante. Lo hemos visto en las casuísticas. Siorella, realmente 1000 veces agradecida por haber aceptado la invitación y haber compartido el día de hoy con nosotros. Si me permites, por favor, para poder visualizar de repente el tema del seminario. en donde creo que tenemos inclusive bastantes teachers que también han participado, trainers que han participado en algunos de nuestros webinars. Los quedamos realmente a todos cordialmente invitados. Esto lo está organizando nuestra querida Siorella González, la institución que dirige en este seminario que se va a realizar a través de Trujillo Transmite. Es un seminario exclusivo, ¿verdad, Siorella, para docentes del área de inglés?
Sí, correcto, para profesores de inglés y también para alumnos de idiomas. Ajá. El precio va a ser 70 soles. Para los alumnos va a ser 45 soles. El certificado va a ser por 20 horas. Y vamos a hacer 6 ponentes, la que habla, Siorella González, que soy la directora de la Academia Trujillo Transmite. Ya hemos hecho el primer seminario hace 2 años, pues la pandemia nos detuvo, pero fue muy lindo, muy bonito, asistieron casi 150 personas, recuerdo, y fue muy lindo. En la ciudad de Trujillo fue cuando era Semana Santa, vinieron de varias partes del Perú, y pues ahora ya tenemos que lanzarlo online y esperamos la asistencia de muchas más personas. Enrique Liñán ha participado, creo, hace unas semanas con ustedes, ¿no?
Sí,
Es mi gran amigo, es mi mejor amigo en realidad. y Cristel también es una gran amiga. Gustavo de Argentina, él ha visitado el Perú y es un excelente ponente y va a estar con nosotros. Olga
Tenemos
de
ponentes
Toisi, de Toisi
internacionales,
también.
¿verdad? Sí, lo estoy viendo justo
Sí,
ahora.
sí,
De hecho, con
sí,
muy amplia experiencia, a Enrique, a quien hemos visto
sí,
varias veces, a Cristel Oyola, que ha trabajado también para lo que es el Ministerio de Educación como especialista, dando
claro.
asesorías, maneja muy bien el tema de currículo, a Jaime Ancajima, que es bastante conocido también, y por
Sí,
supuesto
Jaimito, claro, es un gran amigo.
vas a estar tú ahí. Entonces creo que la calidad del seminario queda garantizada definitivamente.
Sí,
Ahora, un tema, yo te comento algo y
tenemos
de
a
repente,
Olga Rodríguez también,
ajá,
que ella trabaja para Upright, tiene también su propia academia. En Lima, ella trabaja con los colegios internacionales, tiene la capacitación de los IB, entonces tiene otra mentalidad también que va a ser muy buena que la ponga para que nosotros nos enseñe cosas nuevas, ¿no?
perfecto, perfecto, Siorella. Ahí tienen por si acaso, teachers, los números de contacto, creo que están ahí. También están los números de la cuenta. Y hay algo que a veces nos importa mucho a los docentes que trabajamos en instituciones públicas con el tema de la certificación. Siorella acaba de mencionar que son 20 horas que se certifican con el seminario. Recuerden que de acuerdo a la normativa de contrato de este año, desde el año pasado, para todo lo que es seminarios, es válido para su expediente y puntaje desde 16 horas. Está certificando 20, así que además también es válido para ustedes, para ello, porque yo sé que es un tema que también los teachers queremos prepararnos y a la vez por ahí adjuntar algo más al CV que tenemos y qué más de la mano de los excelentes ponentes que estás mostrando el día de hoy, querida Siorella. Muchísimas gracias, Siorelita linda. Ahora sí, vamos a continuar porque te han dejado
Vamos
millones
a
de
ver.
preguntas por ahí.
Así he visto, así he visto. Voy a poner la diapositiva número 2, que está lo que hemos tratado el día de hoy. ¿Ok?
Ya. Ok, está
Muy
bien,
bien, empezamos
perfecto.
en inglés, español.
No, continue, please,
All
in
right,
English.
okay. Thank you so much, Miss Siorella, for this kind of presentation. It's so useful. We are so happy to have you today. Well, actually,
Thank you.
we have a question that many teachers in the chat box in our Facebook group are making for you. As you know, most of us we work for public schools.
Yes.
We don't have enough time to follow all the steps when trying to make students right. So for you, in your own experience and also with the different strategies that you already shared with us today, how can we do in order to do all the steps mentioned before, or what will be the best task or strategies to apply it? Because most of the time we have like a 30 minutes, 25 minutes, or at least, oh, it's a good time, 40 minutes in our classes.
You have 20 minutes or 30 minutes for each class?
Sometimes, when we are talking about, well, face to face, we used to have 2 hours, right? But they are not 2 hours indeed. They are like 45 hours. But nowadays, in this kind of virtual classes, it's sometimes we just work of 1 hour to maybe less because of internet connection.
Okay, so your question is, let me see if I got it correctly. You lack time, right?
Yeah.
You don't have enough time, and how should you develop a writing activity in such a short time during the week, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that giving worksheets and control practice helps a lot. And now we have this. I think I put it here. Look at this. Am I still sharing my screen? Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me see. I put it here. These three links are going to help you a lot. We're gonna go to Cambridge. Oh, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna share the next one. Let me see this one. Look at this. This is Cambridge, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's A1, A1. You type what you want. I want grammar, or I want listening activities. Well, I wrote writing, check, and basic level, check. And I just want 5-minute activity, check. You see? And then you are gonna have this, all right? And these are the ones that they show you. All right, so we can have giving advice to a friend. That's A1, A2, 0 to 5 minutes. That's an activity, all right? And then you click on start, and then it's gonna pop up, and then you're gonna have a control practice online. Everybody's gonna see it. You can do it in groups. That's process writing, just brainstorming and getting the idea. Your students need to have their notebooks, all right? This is how you can save time.
Yes.
This is the text, view text, all right?
Okay, we got it. Yeah, that's very true. That's very nice.
And then
Miss.
you
Yeah.
have this, completing gaps, all right? So it's taking advantage of technology, right? But knowing which is the correct link to use. Over here, this is, for example, for ESL school. ESL school, look, ESL school, pueden anotarlo, right? And then you can open elementary, pre-intermediate. En el colegio es all elementary and pre-intermediate. So let's just go to elementary level, and you can have this. What you usually do is an email, right? Yeah, just an email or a letter, a small letter, or a postcard. So you double click there, and you can see it here, all right? Look, this is control practice. It saves time. You can do it immediately, all right? Very well. Another question.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think it's very interesting because most of the time, I think before we are going to develop a writing task, it's so important to engage our students' vocabulary and previous word in order to write. I think could be a good idea, the writing task, like once a month could be, or maybe, well, actually it depends of a student's level. Thank you so much. Now, let me introduce to teacher Angela.
Thank you so much. And we have another question, which is, how can we teach young learners this writing process?
What do you mean by young learners? What age?
7 years old.
6 and 7? Okay, 6 and 7 years old are movers, all right, according to Cambridge. They are starters or movers, and they don't get to flyers yet because they are learning to write, right? So, first of all, my talk, perdona, mi charla era de A1, A2 y B1. No estaba enfocada a young learners. Para young learners es totalmente distinto, okay? And I think that I am not a specialist for young learners. However, I have taught young learners, and you need to work with handcrafts. Tienes que trabajar con los alumnos. Como son pequeños, ellos se van a acostumbrar bueno, si son más pequeñitos, 4 o 5 años, haciéndolos pegar, haciéndolos unir, ¿ok? Todavía no conocen las palabras ni escriben en ese tiempo, pero 6 y 7 añitos, 7 años ya están escribiendo, ¿ok? Entonces, solamente se requiere 3 líneas como máximo. ¿Okay? Tienes que contar las palabras y siempre tienes que alinearte con el CEFR, ¿no? Con el marco común de, sorry. You need to do the YLE. Give me a second. Yes. Tienen que alinearse con CEFR, ¿ok? Entonces, me está comentando que no escriben los de 4 y 5 años. Es correcto.
That's right.
Entonces, los de 7 añitos ya pueden hacer sus 3 oraciones, ¿ok? 7 añitos. Entonces, lo que tú solamente le podrías dar serían worksheets, ¿right? Y luego que ellos utilicen. Para ellos, a mí me gusta trabajar product writing, all right? Pero si es que tú haces un buen pre-writing, brainstorming, and they give you a lot of ideas, they are very creative at this age, you know? So you have to copy the words in the chat or in your board if you have it. No sé con qué plataforma trabajarán en el colegio, pero estás llenando las palabras ahí. Y luego tú tienes que ayudarlo como profesora a unirla, a crear las oraciones. Pero simplemente máximo 35 palabras es suficiente para un alumno de 7 años que no conoce más de, creo que 20 palabras, ¿ok? En inglés. No puedes exigir más de lo que enseñas a estos alumnos de este nivel, de esta edad, ¿ok?
Sí, gracias. Muchas gracias. Kim, do you have another question?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I have a question. This question is from Miss Consuelo Cáceda, and she says, "How much time do we need to give students to write our written task?" This teacher is from Lima.
It depends on the task. It depends on the task. It depends on the level.
I suppose that
Yeah.
it's high school students, secondary level. I think that.
I wouldn't know, you know, because even if it's secondary level, you have first grade, second grade, third grade. The question is to be more specific. Now, if you say, okay, tercer año de secundaria,
I think A1.
So
I think A1.
he say,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty
okay,
sure it's
A1,
Mhm.
30 minutes, it's enough to write the final paper. The final paper, okay? Now, the pre-writing and while writing, it can take a week. It can take 3 classes, all right? Because these are activities. Now, when it gets to the exam, which should be the last one, then you can just give them 30 minutes, all right? It's enough. Ten cuidado con también differentiation, all right? Nowadays, we have students with ADHD, no? And some students need extra time in comparison to others. So for 30 to 40 minutes, all right? The content does not need to change. The questions do not need to change. Just give them extra time.
Right. Thank you so much. Miss Angela, do you have another question?
I'm looking for it, but I have another question. Now that we are in a moment that we all as teachers are practicing our own learning, what can we do to improve our writing skills? Because we don't have a person like near us to help us with that specific thing. It's like besides like having other like websites where we can complete sentences or work in other things. It's not a full writing team.
Yeah, thank you. Well, what you need to write well is reading. Reading is key for writing, all right? Also listening. I mean, you listen and you get a lot of vocabulary, right? But reading, and you're not going to read Condorito, right? You have to read the news, all right? If you are a teacher and you want to improve your writing, first you need to get used to reading, right? And now that you have a lot of applications, you can even read every morning start reading the news on Instagram or on Facebook, all right? But in English, right? Y que se vuelva una rutina. After that, you can practice your writing in websites, all right? Cambridge has a lot of writing websites and they immediately correct your mistakes, all right? And then there are samples that you can read and then you can present and upload, all right? You can send me my email is over here and I can send you some links for this. It's over here in the bottom, right? But this is just with practice. Writing takes practice, all right? Unless you are very creative and you just want to do free writing, right? And write a novel, but even though for writing a book or for writing a novel, you need to do a lot of, you need to have a lot of practice with this. It takes skills, you know, and organization of ideas. Even though you start at the end of the story, there is a sequence. It has to go back to the beginning, you see?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's continue with the second part, with the next part of presentation.
Please stay with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you
please
so
do that.
much, dear Angela and Kevin. Querida Siorella, yo solamente quiero aquí acotar un poquito. Vi algunas de las preguntas que te acaban de hacer, Kevin, Ángela, sobre Young Learners, y de repente por ahí algo para refrescar la memoria a los teachers, sobre todo quienes trabajan en instituciones públicas. Estamos con esto de la implementación del currículo nacional, de la nueva programación curricular para el área de inglés. Recordemos que está muy relacionada la programación, el programa curricular al marco común de referencia europeo. ¿Y qué es lo que propone para el área de inglés en el nivel primario? En el nivel primario no se hace writing, no se hace todavía la competencia en primer y segundo de primaria. Se trabaja a partir de tercero de primaria. Así es. Así está propuesto en el programa curricular, justamente porque empezamos como cuando se adquiere el idioma, ¿no? Esa es la mirada que tiene el programa curricular. En el nivel primario, vamos
Para
primero con...
adquisición.
Así es, adquisición.
Acquisition of the language, ¿no?
Exactamente, ¿no? Reading and speaking, y a partir del tercer grado de primaria empezamos recién lo que es writing. Solamente acotar eso. Siorella, querida, muchísimas gracias. Las respuestas también a todas las preguntas. Por ahí han quedado 1 millón de preguntas más. Ojalá te des un tiempito por ahí para revisar la página y por ahí te puedas contactar.
Okay.
Están pidiendo datos y algunas otras cositas. Te pido, por favor, que nos acompañes un ratito más para poder terminar juntas el webinar. Bien, continuamos entonces. Miss Lilia nos acompaña con el exit ticket.
Sí, Miss, muy bien, colegas. Vamos a continuar con el exit ticket. Para hoy día el exit ticket es el siguiente. Presten atención, colegas. Es HTTPS /CUWT/E mayúscula, T mayúscula, I minúscula, la P, la V y el número romanos 2. Eso es el exit ticket. Tienen unos cuantos minutos para poder llenarlo, dear teachers.
Por favor, aquí Miss Lilia, recordar a todos los teachers, porque siempre tenemos después los millones de comentarios que por favor fíjenlo, que repítanlo, que no está bien, y sucede que a veces se equivocan, muchas veces, en las letras. Por favor, tómenle foto, captura de pantalla, lo que gusten, y
Exacto.
tal como está, con las mayúsculas, minúsculas, puntos, slash, exactamente como está, pásenlo a su navegador, digítenlo si es posible, si es que no lo encuentran fijado porque se les pierden los comentarios, digítenlo para que puedan ingresar y puedan registrar su asistencia y no tengamos ningún problema con ello. Por favor, eso para que en lo próximo ya no vuelva a suceder ese tema de que de repente por ahí se les pierde y se les va. Ese consejito para todos ustedes. Gracias.
Muy bien, Miss. Ok, Miss.
Bien, continuamos entonces viendo qué tenemos para la próxima semana. Next week, don't miss out. Ahora viene y nos ayuda con ello Miss Tabitha, por favor, cuéntenos qué tenemos para la próxima semana.
Así es, Miss Mary. Muy bien. A ver qué tenemos para la siguiente semana, next week. Ajá. Ilustra tus clases con Canva. Es un programa que muchos hemos utilizado, ¿no? Y en este caso, ¿quién nos ayuda con la ponencia? Ashley, la maestra Ashley Rubí Parco Guaringa. Tenemos la grata presencia de la maestra, quien nos va a ayudar mucho lo que es a ilustrar nuestras clases con Canva. Así que, maestros, están cordialmente invitados, prohibido faltar, sigamos aprendiendo, sigamos poniéndole punche a lo que nos apasiona hacer. ¿Estamos? Muy bien, entonces la invitación está hecha. Muy bien. Ahora, esto tenemos para el día viernes, ¿no es así? Ahora, ¿qué tenemos para el día sábado?
Miss Tavi, antes que pasemos al sábado, para el día viernes, justamente, Miss Tavi ya lo había mencionado, recordemos que en Canva podemos hacer un montón de cosas, carteles, presentaciones, podemos hacer nuestros mismos worksheets, muchísimas cosas. Se va a estar alineado a la estrategia también Aprende en Casa, con ejercicios, con ejemplos. Así que, como dijo Miss Tabitha, no se lo pueden perder. El día viernes a las 6 de la tarde. Quería solo acotar eso para que nos ubiquemos para qué va a ser de utilidad este webinar, ahora que todos nos hemos convertido en digital teachers.
Exacto, Miss Mary, así es. Prohibido faltar, teachers. Muy bien. ¿Qué tenemos para el día sábado, Miss?
Ok, para el día sábado. Ok, permítame antes mencionar que estaba leyendo en el chat y solamente encontramos palabras de agradecimiento a nuestros speakers y también al equipo de English Teachers in Perú, el cual nos motiva pues siempre a dar lo mejor por ustedes, estimados colegas. Por eso es que siguiendo con nuestros webinars de los sábados, que están relacionados especialmente al examen de nombramiento docente, el próximo sábado nos enfocaremos en otra habilidad, speaking. Así que el tema será The Magic of Speaking Virtually, con un gran profesional, Mr. Leonardo Mercado. Así que ya desde antemano vamos a agendarlo y no se pueden perder este interesante webinar de la próxima semana.
Así es, Miss Tavi, el día sábado que tenemos a Leonardo Mercado, conferencista nacional, internacional, con una amplia trayectoria, un gran profesional que ha aceptado nuestra invitación. Va a ser un excelente webinar, como dijo Miss Zully, para poder abordar un nuevo skill más. Ya hemos visto listening con Mr. Liñán. El día de hoy, la grandiosa Siorella Gonzales, que ha compartido con nosotros writing. La próxima semana tenemos speaking con Mr. Mercado. Y después vamos a seguir todavía continuando con esta preparación en todo lo que corresponde a la metodología de la enseñanza del idioma inglés. Thank you so much, dear teachers. Muchísimas gracias a todos por su audiencia el día de hoy. Encendemos todo el equipo administrativo, las camaritas, para poder despedirnos. y para poder recordarles también que por favor cualquiera de sus consultas también las pueden seguir digitando ahí en los comentarios para poderlos apoyar. Espero que el día de hoy se hayan alcanzado a poder llenar todos el registro de asistencia en el Exit Ticket. Nos despedimos, el equipo administrativo que está conformado por más de 20 administradores de la comunidad English Teachers in Perú. Querida Siorella, hoy día han estado más de 700 maestros atentos a toda tu webinar, tu ponencia, maestros desde Ecuador, de Argentina, de México y por supuesto la mayoría de ellos maestros peruanos, muy agradecidos contigo por todo lo compartido, querida Siorella. Una vez más, muchísimas gracias por el excelente webinar que nos has dado hoy día.
Muchas gracias a ti también, Mariela. Muchas gracias, Zulamita, Pamela, Ángela, Kevin, Tabita, Lilia. Y a todas las personas que no, estoy muy contenta y espero que sigamos siendo a partir de ahora más que colegas, amigos.
Muchas gracias, Siorelita. Yo sé que sí, y por supuesto desde ya aprovecharé y te comprometeremos más adelante. Por ahí esperamos volver a tener tu visita en los webinars que solemos dar a través de la comunidad para poder apoyar a todos nuestros teachers, colegas peruanos, ¿no? Es la vocación, la esencia, el corazón que nos une de poder mejorar el área y no olviden también la invitación al excelente seminario que ya se viene de la mano de Siorella González y de excelentes ponentes. Bien, teachers, el día de hoy nos despedimos. Miss Tabita Naya Guaranca, Miss Ángela Salazar Barreda, Miss Pamela Salazar, Miss Zulamita Chukten, teacher Kevin Laura de la Cruz, Miss Lilia, teacher José Ortega Cerruto y la excelente ponente que nos ha acompañado, Siorella González, mi persona, Mariela Condorena. Bye bye, teachers.
Bye bye. Take care.